About to go into this house to meet someone to buy a collection. I'll let you know how it goes. I'll tell you in a second. And here we go. Okay, so it's been a couple days. Spoiler alert, it didn't work out. Let me tell you why. So they reached out and they were like, hey, we might want to sell our cards, or they did want to sell them, or they thought they want to sell them. And I go in the house and I'm talking to her and I'm looking through, I'm just like glancing through the binders and the boxes. And honestly, it's just like junk wax era stuff. Like there's nothing really there. There was like one Jordan baseball rookie card, which is worth like 10 to 20 bucks at most. And so I'm talking through like, oh, these are really cool. And then she had a box of coins, and I don't know a ton about coins. My oldest son loves coins. And then she had a book of these like dollars from all around the country, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. So we get to the part where I ask, hey, what do you want for this? And I always ask people like, what do you want for this? Because I love to give them an idea. I know negotiation, they say you need to start with a low anchor and then they go from there. I always ask people first because I'm like, I want to get an idea of what you want out of this. Because if they ask, like, if she'd have been like, I don't know, $1,000, I'd have been like, okay, well, thank you so much for your time. Like, I'm not going to ask her to do it a lot lower, even though I know it's worth a lot lower. We go back and forth, and she's like, I have no idea. I was like, okay, how about $150? I don't know what the coins are worth. So in fairness, I don't know what they're worth. They were cased, and they didn't look like somebody picked through them. Let's just say that. And the book looked expensive, and then the cards aren't worth jack diddle on a skittle. And so I asked him like $150, 200, like 150 to 200 is what I'm thinking. And she goes, no, this book alone, I could take it to the bank. I was like, okay, cool. Then how about without the book? That's fine. The book does look valuable. That's fine. Like, leave it out. I was like, what about the coins and the cards? She's like, well, I don't know. Let me call my dad. So her dad comes over, and he walks in like I'm trying to scam her. And I'm just like, hey man, how's it going? And he was like, now this is worth so much. And I'm like, okay, well, how much is it worth? Well, I don't know, but it's worth a lot. That's the part that gets hard with this stuff, is that people think a lot of this stuff is worth a ton, and it's not worth that much. If you have cards printed from like 84 to 94, especially baseball, it's not worth anything for the most part. None of it's worth anything except for like an upper deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie cards worth like 50 to 80 bucks. That's it. Everything, and it's the most graded thing at PSA, so they had so many printed of all that, it's not worth anything. But they don't know that, they just think it's worth a bunch. And I was like, man, I'll be honest, these cards, I glanced through them, I may have missed something, it's not worth much. And I said, there's one Jordan rookie, is about 10 to 20. I said, I saw some 1988, it was 88 or 86 Topps football. I didn't see Jerry Rice or Steve Young. If you find them, it's worth something. If not, it's not. And I was like, well, then forget the cards. What about that one box of coins? I do want to get something for my son. He's like, well, no, I got a friend that found a $4,000 coin. I was like, is that coin in there? He said, no. I was like, well, then how much you want it? I don't know. I just got to get it checked out. I was like, thanks. I drove an hour and a half after work to go to this, and this dude was just like, no, I'm not going to sell anything. I was like, all right, see. So either figure out what it's worth or don't.